Hi there and welcome to Fuzzy on the Details. My name is Fuzzy and today we are covering some breaking news regarding the just announced Godzilla Sourcebook. I have lots of thoughts, a little information beyond what was officially announced, and tons of additional context to bring to the conversation. So let's get into those details. This is all we know for sure at this time because we don't have an Amazon or Penguin Random House listing yet. All we've got is this announcement. The book is coming out in November of 2026. It's written by Matt and Marty Forbeck. It's going to include some new rules and maps for kaiju-sized battles. It will feature profiles for Godzilla and other monsters from Mothra to Fin Fang Foom. So that means kaijus from Toho, the Godzilla IP owner, and from Marvel, who of course owns Fin Fang Foom. And it's going to include an all-new comic book story from Pali Paul Aller and Iguara, both of whom worked on the Time Stream adventure, so I'm really excited to see that they're back. Now, there is one credit missing from the announcement, and that's that Brian F. Patterson will be back doing the maps. Brian is such a big part of why I love these books, so I really do wish he'd get credit up front with the other contributors for his art. Now, one thing not directly mentioned in the announcement is that this book is called a source book. We haven't had one of those before. Judging from the picture, it looks a little smaller than a full 250-page expansion, so maybe it's a 128-page hardcover, or maybe it's a softcover. Hard to say. Personally, I love this idea because honestly, how many more really big 250-page expansions do they have left? I think a Magic, Supernatural, Midnight Suns themed one is obvious, but beyond that, I think you'd really have to squeeze either different ideas together or stretch out some ideas with a lot of filler. So why not smaller, denser, high-quality books? Actually, I think this is another example of this game having legs that will last long into the future. They're experimenting with different types of products, creating new partnerships with new licensees. There's a lot more fun to come in this game. Okay, now let's talk about the timing of this. I've seen a lot of people asking online, like, why is this book coming out now? There are a ton of really good reasons why I think this is brilliant. Reason number one, you've got the Godzilla Minus Zero movie also coming out in November. I just saw the trailer yesterday. Marvel will be able to take advantage of a little coattail marketing, even though there's no direct connection, of course, between Marvel and the movie. This will absolutely help the game reach a new audience. I've already seen some people in some Godzilla groups who've never played the game before that saw this announcement and are now interested in picking the book up. Reason number two, there is already some interest within the gaming community thanks to the successful Kickstarter from IDW for their game. That just wrapped up a successful crowdfunding just a few months ago, and it's probably going to ship right around the same time that this book comes out. And the third reason, and I think the most obvious and the most important, is that Marvel currently has the license to produce comics for Godzilla, but that will not last forever. Here's the history there. In 2023, Marvel announced that they had the license, and the first thing they did is reprint those old comics from the 70s, which they could not do without the license. Then in late 2024, Marvel announced the Godzilla vs. Marvel event to be published in 2025. And in 2025, they announced the Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe event, which launched in July of that year. And most recently, in 2026, the very last announcement we have is for a 5-issue miniseries called Godzilla Conquers the Multiverse. Sounds pretty final to me. And the last issue of that 5-issue miniseries is set to come out in, you guessed it, November of 2026. And after that, nothing. There's no other Marvel Godzilla related things announced after November of 2026. So to me, and obviously I don't have the contract in front of me, but that suggests the end of the Toho Marvel licensing agreement is coming up soon. So add all of that up. This is the absolute perfect time for a book like this to be coming out. Let's talk about what we could see in this book. What profiles do you think we're going to get? Matt Forbeck happened to mention to me on Blue Sky that Marty had watched just about every Godzilla movie in preparation for writing his part of this book. That means he sat down and watched almost 40 movies. And so just about anything that appeared in those movies is fair game, right? That means Mothra, Rodan, Mechagodzilla, King Caesar, and Ghidorah, who's rumored to be in the new movie. But beyond the movies, you got the comics to pull from too. So obviously they mentioned Fin Fang Foom, but maybe a character like Red Ronin could make it in. And speaking of Fin Fang Foom, he's already in the game. In case you missed it, he was part of the free Marvel Snap content, including some other dragon-themed profiles. I've put a link in the description for those who weren't aware of that. It's a free download. And there are other Marvel characters with direct connections to kaiju. You've got American kaiju, of course, and Kid Kaiju, and the various monsters that character can manifest. And we've got so many classic giant monsters to choose from. We've already got one Giganto in the game, ¿Por qué no los dos? And who knows if these kaiju will be rank 6 like Fin Fang Foom was, or rank X now that we've got those rules coming to us in this Secret Wars expansion. And speaking of rules, the announcement mentioned new rules coming to the game as well. I think there is a lot of opportunity to introduce more military equipment into the game through this book. For example, battleships and bombers have featured prominently in Godzilla movies for decades. And yeah, why not stats for a nuclear bomb or for radiation effects? Maybe more rules for collateral damage and city combat, especially with those Brian Patterson maps that are coming our way. I think we'll likely see some new powers or power stunts to cover all of those cool new monster attacks that we've seen in the movies and in the comics. For example, I really want to see how that Godzilla tail slide gets represented. But tell me, what do you guys think, either about the announcement or what we're going to see in the book? This was definitely not on my bingo card, especially in the weeks leading up to Gen Con. I mean, we've got Secret Wars that hasn't come out yet, Midtown Mayhem, and now this. Has there ever been a time where we've had 3 books announced but not yet in our hands? I don't think so. What a time to be a Marvel RPG fan. Well, that is all that I've got for you today. Talk to you guys real soon because believe me, the Gen Con hype train is about to start and we're going to have so much stuff coming your way in the coming weeks. Have a great day.